You've seen the title, I'm not gonna dance around it. This is my top 30 albums of 2025. Starting off with number 30 is by My Morning Jacket, a return to form for the band where the hits really hit and are so playlistable. Bangers like Out in the Open, Half a Lifetime and Time Waited, as well as all the deep cuts, are packed with great melodies, making the album fly by. Number 29, No Rain, No Flowers by the Black Keys. Moody blues rock that spent the year dominating my playlist through all the singles that were put out before the album and then the actual album, probably my favourite from Black Keys since El Camino. Number 28, I Love My Computer by Nina Geraci. This is one of those albums that makes you really root for the artist you're listening to, with absolute bangers like iPod Touch and Delete mixed with really simple, deeper, relatable songs like Sing Good that amplify the emotionality of every other song around it. Number 27, So Much to Tell You by Axe and the Hatchet Man. I've been following these guys for a while, as the singles and EP leading up to it were unreal, and I'm not really sure they fully stuck the landing to where my really high expectations were, but that said, I've still come back to it loads and play a very good chunk of the songs very often. My expectations though for it were just a top 10 placement. Number 26, I Heard That Noise by Quickly Quickly, a dreamy blend of electronic textures, jazz influenced grooves and intimate songwriting, creating lovely laid back songs that hit hard like anything and I punched through a wall. Number 25, Let God Sort 'Em Out by Clips. This is an album where I'm gonna have to talk about what I didn't like about it rather than what I did, since it's probably gonna end up on the number 1 spot, or at least close to the number 1 spot in most other end year lists you'll see. But I'll start with the positives. Phenomenal rapping with deep introspective lyrics and great beats. Although Hell Hat No Fury is one of my favourite rap albums of the 2000s, and I know it's unfair to compare, but I really don't think that the beats or raps of this will match up that well against it. But to be fair, it's a crazy high bar. The main thing that holds the album back for me is that for the most part, the hooks just didn't work for me, apart from several exceptions. Obviously, still a great album, but it just didn't land for me the way it did for others. Number 24, Bones by Rainbow Kitten Surprise. Rainbow Kitten Surprise make music for the drives home at night that make you feel like the main character, and this album is no different. I wouldn't say songs really stand out in the sense that this whole album feels like one big dramatic journey you almost feel more than you listen to. Number 23, Blue Sky Mentality by Good Neighbors. This album is sheer positive cheesiness, song after song, to the point where it does get a bit old on a full listen, but individually, the majority of these songs work as lovely bangers by themselves, which is why I think the rollout of most of the songs already being released before the album was pretty genius, as I had already come to love them before I even listened to the album. If you're gonna listen to one song from it, listen to Suburbs and feel yourself floating on life. Number 22, Hurry Up Tomorrow by The Weeknd. Undeniably one of The Weeknd's best albums, just hurt a bit by the fact it has a hard time staying engaging for the entirety of that very long runtime, but I love how cohesive it sounds, some of The Weeknd's deepest writing, and how every song blends into the next in such a satisfying way. Number 21, Dangerous Summer by Yeat. Yup, I have Yeat above Clips. They're different types of albums, alright? And when it comes to sheer enjoyability, I enjoyed this Yeat album just a little bit more. The production was unreal. Some of my very favourite Yeat songs now ever can be found on it. Far from perfect, but it did hit the spot I was looking for. Don't worry though, I have plenty rappity dappity rap later on in the list to make up for this. Number 20, Cabin in the Sky by De La Soul. An homage to Dave that really did stick the landing for the most part, with some classic De La Soul-esque beats and flows with some heartbreaking introspective lyrics about their fallen friend to top it all off. Number 19, Small Talk by Whitney. A collection of songs that feel bright and nostalgic, full of subtle instrumental details throughout. So many beautiful sounding songs like Dandelion, Small Talk, Evangeline and Darling. Number 18, Vendron Suaves Luvias by Silvana Estrada. I like her last album Marchita a little bit more, but this was still a great album. A deep and powerful listen that sounds so gosh darn good. Number 17, Evangeline vs. the Machine by Eric Church. The production of this one is class, building throughout the songs, feeling big and cinematic without ever losing its country roots. The songwriting is great too. Number 16, Anyway by Anamaguchi. The songs on this album are bursting with so much energy, giving me all the joy, man, especially songs like Sparkler and Sapphire. Number 15, Forever How Long by Black Country New Road. One of today's best bands, giving us a blend of art rock and deeply personal songwriting, resulting in an album maybe not as good as their last, but still a listen that feels like an adventure. Number 14, Rockabye Baby, Glimmer of God by Gene Dawson. Gene Dawson is so good, a man that puts his all into all of his albums, and this one is no different. Full of a big variety of sounds and styles that all somehow sound cohesive, and by God the bangers hit. Try and sit still and not bob your head to White Lighter, you won't be able to. Number 13, Lux by Rosalia. If your ears have been good all year, give them this album as a Christmas present. The singing is beautiful, the soundscape is otherworldly but comfy. It is a feast for the ears. Number 12, Getting Killed by Geese. Treaty Country is genuinely top 5 or 6 of my favourite albums of the entire 2020 so far, and after Cameron Winter's solo project, I was so excited for this one and it did not disappoint. So glad Geese are getting so much praise for it. By God, songs like Cobra and Taxes are incredible. Number 11, Only Dust Remains by Backwash. The production on this one is stellar, but when I'm listening to this album, it's not the production I'm listening for, it's the rapping. So passionate, and the lyrics behind it are even more passionate. This is one where you need to throw on the headphones and just get revved up and angry. We're finally in the top 10, my top 10 albums of 2025. Number 10, Magic Alive by McKinley Dixon. The jazzy production on this one makes it stand out from every other rap album this year, as none did it quite as well, and the effortless flows that just flowed over that production pushed this album into one of the best I've heard all year. Number 9, Self-Titled by Racing Mount Pleasant. An album that makes you feel nostalgic for memories you've yet to make. The atmospheric production that builds and builds on top of sharp songwriting, making the songs feel so dramatic. It'll have you staring into the night sky, rethinking your whole life. Number 8, Zoe by Young Faisal. I actually liked the Playboi Carti album a lot, but by God, this album is everything music by Carti should have been. A non-stop roller coaster of futuristic feeling trap bangers. In a year where most of the mainstream trap albums have had like 2 good songs and mostly filler around them, you'll have a hard time finding filler in this track list. It's one where you'll be pressing the save button over and over. Number 7, Black British Music by Jim Legacy. Also futuristic in the sense that I don't know if I've ever heard this type of production being pulled off so well. Blending samples with his raps in such creative ways, helping to make sure that there isn't a dull moment in the album. New David Bowie especially is such a banger, man, as well as 06 Wayne Rooney. Number 6, People Watching by Sam Fender. The big pop album of the list. Fantano said this album was just Springsteen derivative, but I personally love Bruce Springsteen, so by God it worked for me. Walking around or taking a bus with these songs in your headphones gets you feeling so main character-y. Arm's Length especially is such a beautiful song. Top 5, baby. Number 5, Pain to Power by Maruja. This album takes a bit of post-punk, a bit of jazz, and a lot of noise and fuses them into something so exhilarating it's cathartic. Trying to drive safely while listening to this album is near impossible. Number 4, I Barely Know Her by Somber. My other big pop album of the list. I was not expecting a whole lot when I first turned it on, to be honest. After the album's 2 main singles were big TikTok songs, I was expecting a lot of other songs on the album just begging for radio play. Scarred from many other albums this year doing just that. The hits Somber made to fill out this track list are undeniably catchy, whilst feeling like they have a whole lot of heart in them, and weren't just built for radio play. Songs like Crushing and I Wish I Knew How to Quit You and best of all Dime combine powerful songwriting with accessible pop music to make these just brilliant songs I listen to over and over. Number 3, Femme Fatale by Mon Laferte. This album is like Spanish Amy Winehouse on steroids. The songs go from vulnerable to dramatic to I'm gonna use the word swaggery here. So yeah, swaggery. Her singing is insane, and the production behind the singing that amplifies it makes for an addictive album that temporarily made everything else I listened to sound whack for a while. What do you get when you combine Kanye type soul beat production with blues I'm rapping like the rent is due flows? You get my number 2, Ego Trip by John Mitchell and Anthony James. Don't Save Me and Take No More are 2 of my favorite songs off it, but by god, you're gonna have a tough time not saving everything you can off this album before wanting even more. My favorite rap album of the year and one of the very best rap albums of the 2020s in my opinion. And here it is, the gold medal spot, my #1 favorite album of the year, Sable Fable by Bon Iver. It's kind of hard to be objective with this one because it was just there with me through so many powerful moments throughout my year. So putting its greatness into words is tough. The album sounds and more importantly feels like living in a memory, or rather a memory that's winding down, where you're surrounded by your family or friends, just love all around you. You're coming to the end of a sunset and you can already feel how you'll be so nostalgic for this moment in the future. And then on top of that, every song is just unreal. Better than whatever your favorite album is. But let me know what it is in the comments. Please tell me all of your favorite albums. I would love to debate, discuss, and just see what they are. And thank you so much for watching.